and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
so then when you're overseas, you're not allowed to beat up on each other because you kind of need everybody to be able to like do your job, right? You can't like accidentally hurt somebody and then
Yeah.
you're down a
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So I got really big into the gym there, and it was just like normal bodybuilding bro stuff,
Mm-hmm.
nothing crazy, like just going to bodybuilding.com, ripping off whatever program and doing that. And then I did that for a good bit, and then the CrossFit games were on ESPN
Okay.
over in our chow hall,
Yeah.
and I was watching it and I was like, well, these guys are jacked and
Yeah.
athletic and doing this thing. Like I want to see what this CrossFit stuff's about. I'd never really even heard of it
True. True.
before that. So I just started doing it on my own. Um,
That's amazing,
I
man. And
I Go ahead.
what like this is the question I have for you. This is kind of a little off topic, but the problem I run into whenever I talk, I love CrossFit a lot. I think it's
Hmm.
got so many different like transference. Like you can sit there and you could do CrossFit for freaking, you could do it for rehab if you wanted to. I think. I mean, you
Yeah,
probably know more than me, but you know, you scale it down enough to make it easier. But a lot
you
of
definitely
people,
could.
yeah, you could, but a lot of people don't. I think they shy away from it because they think of injury. Like they just automatically their
Yeah,
head goes to like, oh my kneecap is gonna pop out of my knee, like
right.
you know. So, but my question is like, was that a problem when you first started? Did you have issue with like injury, or did you have good coaches kind of leading you through it?
No, I was pretty fortunate. So I did it on my own, solo dolo, no coaches,
Holy cow,
for a
man!
couple months. But I was smart about it in like I didn't try to like clean and jerk and snatch and that stuff because I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd be the
so
same
I
way.
stuck to more like the compound lifts, like bench, squat, dead, and then I would do like burpees and stuff like that for the high intensity aspect.
Yeah.
Um, but then I got back and I was in Fort Bliss in El Paso, and I started going to CrossFit 915
Okay.
there, and they have fantastic coaches, and they helped me out. I never had any like nagging injuries or anything from like just starting CrossFit. I think the reason that I think there's a couple reasons for that stigma,
Yeah.
but I think the big reason with a lot of like if you're just somebody who's like healthy, young and whatever, and then you just start doing CrossFit,
Yeah.
I think what happens is you get loaded in a lot of different positions and ranges of motion than you're used to being loaded in. So then
Huh.
that's going to stress your joints and your tendons a lot more than they're used to. So then you're going to get some of those nagging injuries in like your shoulders and your knees and stuff, right? Like if somebody has the ability to squat all the way ass to grass, knees over their toes, all that stuff, but
Yeah.
they've never done it, and then their first week of CrossFit, they do it 200 times with their body weight, your fucking knees are probably going to hurt, man.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
Right?
gonna. Yeah. You'll be crying by the end of that. Yeah, for sure.
Right.
But
So
see,
I think, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say I love your description of that. I've never heard somebody describe it that way because I've talked to people who've taught CrossFit and done that stuff. But that's, I mean, for anybody trying to go into it, you're right. It's the amount of different things you're doing with CrossFit is unbelievable. Like you are just your body's going through so many different movements and you're using joints you've never used before, like what you said, just to repeat. But yeah, I mean that's shit, that's amazing. So can you hear me? Hold on one second.
Like, hey, like the random person who comes in, we can't kill them the
Yeah,
first day. Like we need to really ease them into this and progress them, and it's gotten a lot better. There was definitely a time before I got into CrossFit. I just kind of know the history of it where the coaching, it was a learning curve. Like a lot of coaches were really new to it and they didn't really know how to properly progress it for, the soccer mom, the 50-year-old, the former football player. Like all of
sure.
those people need a slightly different approach when coming in,
Yeah.
and you've got to be able to tailor it.
Wow, man. Yeah, and that's and I noticed that on your parlor too. Like you're all about like taking responsibility for your own fitness and not putting your trust in like an Instagram trend or something out there that people will just tell you about. Like, they say, oh, try this. It's great. This really worked well for me. And your approach to fitness, just from what I see, is all about scaling and starting from a place that's achievable, So
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Yeah. No, I firmly believe, and I really I like your message about, you need to be able to be your own personal trainer. Like, I firmly,
but that's your message.
I love
the
coaching.
same thing. Yeah.
I love coaching, and I love helping people with nutrition and training and stuff like that. But I think a lot of coaches like feel the same way I do, where like, I don't necessarily want you to rely on me forever.
True.
Like, I want to guide you and show you down a path, but at a certain point, like, I want you to graduate from me.
Yeah.
And then
right.
if you continue to want coaching from me, then that's because of a relationship we have.
Exactly.
Right. But
exactly.
I want to give you the knowledge to live a long, healthy, happy life and be able to do any physical activities that you want to do.
Yeah, because you're in the business of helping people. Like, that's all you're doing. I guess that's how you're redefining CrossFit even. You're kind of taking the approach of, I'd like you to be educated rather than just have to keep emptying your wallet for some new fad or new trend or new trainer, just go through the same steps that anybody would do if they didn't know how to approach fitness.
Exactly. Absolutely.
That's amazing, man. Oh my God. What's your favorite CrossFit exercise?
My favorite CrossFit workout?
Yeah.
Ooh.
My limited knowledge, I already I know a little bit about CrossFit, but that's it doesn't extend far. All I know is that there's names. There's like the Murph, there's like the different like pocket workouts kind of, but still freaking intense. Like, don't get me wrong. I've seen any of those workouts and I'm like, goddamn, you're going to be you'll be huffing and puffing by the end of any of those.
Murph is a beast. Murph is up there for me. I like Murph.
And what?
I think
remind me what Murph is. Like, just give me the breakdown.
So Murph is for time, a mile run.
Okay.
And then 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, 300 air squats, and then a mile run. And you can partition the body weight movements any way you want.
Okay.
So a lot of people do 20 rounds of 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 squats.
Okay.
So they can kind of keep moving.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to do it with a 20-pound weight vest or body armor if you have it available.
Yeah, just no problem. Yeah, easy peasy, right?
So yeah, Murph's a good one. I mean, I've done Murph like 7 or 8 times probably.
Sure.
I don't know. So I'm one of those really crazy CrossFitters. I gravitate toward the workouts that suck the most.
Okay.
Just because I like getting better at things I'm not good at. So I think my favorite workout of all time, I don't think I could peg one, but I could peg the movements.
Yeah.
So I really like toes to bar.
Toes to bar. Okay. Yeah, exactly.
And I really like handstand walking and sandbag cleans.
Handstand walking and sandbag cleans. Oh my gosh, man. Okay. Yeah, because I've done the toes to bar. I've done sandbag walking. And then what was the other one you said? It was the
sandbag cleans. So it's just a big,
okay.
It's like a big, like round-ish sandbag that we use different weights. And you just kind of pick it up from the floor and you just kind of toss it over your shoulder. Or sometimes we'll just bring it to our shoulder, or sometimes we'll squat with it and stuff. But I really like just kind of hucking it over my shoulder. It's not too technical. It's just like, hey, like throw a rock over shoulder.
Yeah, it's simple. My buddy, I worked out with my buddy, and he had like a 50-pound sandbag or something, and it's weird how you kind of look at it, and you don't expect it to really be much in the beginning, because you're like, oh, I mean, this is not that heavy. I'll be fine. I'll be okay. And then you have to deal with like the fact that there's you're just kind of moving sand. Like it's moving everywhere, and you got to like put it, learn the proper method and everything. So when I did that, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought sandbag anything was the way to go. And I think that's something that people can
They're really fun too. I totally agree.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That
like,
little mix up from using a barbell.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's sort of the same. Have you ever heard of this is just random. Have you ever heard of a bamboo bar before?
Yes.
Yeah, I've
Yes.
only used one like one time, but it might be in a sense sort of the same principle as the sandbag, where you're having to deal with kind of this inconsistent weight or
Right.
motion that changes as you do the exercise, you know. So something that tests your range of motion, you know, all the stuff you were talking about. So
Right. Yeah, that instability.
yeah, and then where do you own your gym? What's how did you get into that? How'd you like make that
Um,
happen?
yeah, so the gym is we actually just rebranded to Skylab Fitness.
That's a
We're
cool
down
name.
in Webster, Texas.
Okay.
It's just outside of Houston. Basically, it's the greater Houston area.
Okay.
Um,
I'll give you a shout out
so
too, by the way. I'm gonna post, you know, I'll share all your stuff and everything
yeah,
just to
man,
make people know about it.
appreciate
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Oh, of course, man. Anytime. Yeah.
So yeah,
But
I've been co-owning there for going on. I think this is I'm in my third year now. Yeah, and
wow. Okay.
then I've been coaching there since 2016.
Okay. And I read your credentials, man. It's impressive, dude. You're so you are a I don't remember what coach are you in CrossFit, because I know there's levels. I know there's very distinct levels.
Yeah, so I have my CrossFit L2. So there's
Okay.
L1, L2, L3, and L4.
Okay.
And I recently got my L2 this past summer.
Okay. And
Yeah.
what does that mean you can or can't do as an L2 as opposed to an
So
L4?
the L2 doesn't have a lot of differences from the L1 as far as what you're allowed to do.
Wow. Okay.
The big difference between the L2 and the L1 is the L2 is really focused on coaching your coaching.
Okay.
Um,
I have to wrap my
so
head around
where,
that one a little bit. I'm like,
yeah,
oh,
whereas the L1 is really centered on, just kind of teaching you how to be a coach and like a little bit about programming, a little bit about progressions, a little bit about this, a little bit about that.
sure.
The L2 really gets in the nitty gritty of like, how well can you teach someone how to overhead squat or deadlift or whatever? And like, what cues do you use? Would you use tactile cues? Do you use verbal cues? Stuff like that. So it's
Yeah.
a very, very, very valuable course. I learned a ton. It was fantastic. It definitely elevates you as a coach. Um,
Yeah,
it's
because
good because
queuing's the big thing. I mean, it's that's what I struggle with whenever I train anybody. It's like I don't know. Sometimes you don't know what people are going to take. You know, what people are going to understand or not get. You know, so
yeah,
yeah.
it's huge. And they put you kind of in the fire. Like they like make you teach a movement
Hmm.
and you get like evaluated and everybody's like watching you and it's like it's really uncomfortable,
Oh,
but it's
it's from
it's
what I've
so
heard, it's
good for you.
intense. Yeah, yeah. But I guess that's similar to, maybe that wasn't a big surprise to you because you came from the military. So that's like, you're being scrutinized and you're probably used to it. You know.
Yeah, I think I
So
handled it a little bit better than some other of the participants, but
sure, sure.
I've had that. Yeah, I had that numerous times in the military. So
Yeah, yeah. No way, really?
yeah,
No, that's awesome,
so
man. Well, we'll see. Because I think the coaching for CrossFit takes a look at all different angles with fitness as opposed to a bunch of other programs. Because I think since you're moving through levels and stuff, you're tacking on even more learning opportunities kind of as you go through. So where most programs are just like one and done, you do it
right.
and bam, you're certified in whatever. So I like the fact that you got to go through levels, and I guess that's why it's so intimidating for most people.
Yes, and the CrossFit education system, people don't give it the credit that it should. There's a lot of CrossFit has this whole section of preferred courses or preferred instructors, which are all specialty courses in powerlifting, gymnastics, Olympic lifting, endurance, aerobic capacity, like
Yeah.
football and sports specific stuff. So they have all kinds of specialty courses on that kind of stuff. They have anatomy courses and physiology courses to really help you grow as a coach and trainer because all that stuff's necessary.
Sure.
Whereas a lot of other certifications, they try to jam it all into like one certification,
I'd
NASM and
love to.
ACSM and
Yeah, I'd love to see a CrossFit coach who didn't know anything about anatomy and just kind of pointing. It's like, it's this muscle right here. This one. Which one? This one.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
on your leg. I think it's I don't know. It's that one right there. Use that muscle. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. So
Yeah.
there's
Move
my
your
pump for
legs
the day.
this way.
Yeah, that's my there's my joke for the day. My exercise joke. Yeah, move your arm over your head. What muscle is it? It's the shoulder.
There's a running joke, uh, at least with the coaches that I've met and stuff, where it's if somebody's like okay at a movement,
Yeah.
but they need to. There's a lot of room for improvement. The coach doesn't know what to tell them. The coach just be like, "Do it again, but just better."
I think you're not the only person who has told me that. Like I've heard that from other people. Like that's kind of the like you did it great, but do it better. Yeah,
Yeah,
like you got
it's
it,
like
just not like that.
just do it better.
Yeah, just do it. Just try it again. Yeah, yeah, man, that's great, man. Oh my god. Well, it's so. What do you tell like what do you think that you do differently with your? Do you do anything different kind of with your CrossFit workouts whenever you train people? Since you have this different perspective on fitness, what are you telling people that is allowing them to take what you tell them into a regular gym with them? So I know that was kind of a complicated question.
No, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing I try to impart on people I coach and members at our gym is while it's always enticing to go faster or
Mm-hmm.
do more weight or
Be a
do the
badass.
next skill movement and like whatever,
Yeah.
that quality of movement is just so important because it's going to keep you from getting injured.
Mm,
It's going to keep you moving well. It's going to keep your body healthy. It's going to help you more in the long run.
of course.
And I I really try to impart on people, especially people who they're just looking to be fitter. They're not trying to be competitive in anything, any sport or CrossFit or whatever, that you don't have to do it all today.
Sure.
Like just improve a little bit today and come back tomorrow.
It's a process as opposed to
Yes.
yeah, as opposed to just balls to the wall, just going at it, doing as
Yes.
fast or as much as you can. So
And that's a big thing we talk about at my gym that I know of a couple other gyms that talk about it, but I don't think enough CrossFit gyms talk about it still is not every day is maximal intensity, right? Like and we're really upfront with people about that in our classes and stuff. Like I will tell the class like, hey, I want you moving at like a 7 out of 10 in effort today through this,
sure.
this Metcon or this conditioning piece. Like you should finish this workout and like walk off. You should be fine.
Uh-huh.
You shouldn't be, I always tell them you shouldn't be on the floor in a puddle of CrossFit goo.
Yeah.
Like, because whereas intensity definitely has its place in adaptation and in physical training,
Mm-hmm.
we know from science beyond a shadow of a doubt, like this is known, too much intensity is going to hurt your progress.
You're right. Yeah, you're exactly right.
And I think that has been a shift for me, as I grew in CrossFit myself and as I grew as a coach, was it's like, okay, like we need to be intense, a couple days a week.
Sure.
But the other days of the week, like we should really be prioritizing how we move, technique, proficiency, stuff like that.
So you've added so you've kind of added this spacing, more like more of a focus on the programming aspect where you're sitting there and you do have the intense days, but then you got the days that, like you said, are more movement specific, focused on the form, building a better relationship with the movements as opposed to just banging them out willy-nilly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I'm a self-admitted programming nerd. I love it.
That's cool, man. I love that.
I dive into it super deeply and
Yeah.
just the different ways to do it, which I think is part of the fun of being a CrossFit coach because it's,
yeah, definitely.
you can mix and match and do crazy stuff.
Sure.
But yeah, lowering that intensity, focusing on movement, and things that are typically not incorporated in CrossFit gyms, at least not in the past. Again, I think CrossFit coaches and gyms as a whole are getting a lot better about this, but
sure.
Tempo movements in your your slow lifts, squat,
like
bench,
that.
deadlift.
I like that. That's good.
Strict pressing more, holding gymnastics positions more, overhead holds, handstand holds on the wall, even like we do it at my gym, like we do bicep curls, tricep extensions, bench press, like all of that stuff makes you a stronger physiological organism. Like
Yeah.
there's no reason not to train those things. Like, yeah, you get some indirect like bicep activation here and there through these functional movements and stuff like that, but there's no reason to not keep your biceps and triceps strong and healthy, because that's going to help maintain your overhead stability when you're snatching or clean and jerking or handstand walking or whatever. So
And what's funny, it's funny that you brought that up, because I think of the same thing just whenever anybody goes into the gym trying to tackle weight loss or trying to build more muscle or do something like that, is they always just kind of go into the single joint stuff, the bicep curls, the tricep extensions, and
yes,
what you're talking about, and this is what I think I take from CrossFit with this, is that the compound movements are really and truly the focus, should be the focus of anybody's fitness goal. Whether you're weight loss, whether you're muscle building, you should prioritize your effectiveness in like a squat or a deadlift, and then put what you said, put the other stuff kind of at the end of the workout as a way to make those lifts stronger, as opposed to like doing the copious amounts of bicep curls and tricep extension just because you think that is the way to like make your arms bigger or something. So
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
So,
I could not agree more.
Yeah, and that, like, I think that's why I like the ideals of CrossFit, is because that, they put the focus on the big stuff, and you use all the other accessory lifts and the accessory workouts just to make your big stuff better and stronger, So
Yeah.
But people don't do that if they're trying to lose weight or build muscle. I think their first thought is just like, oh, I want my arms to get bigger, so I'm going to go ahead and just hit different kinds of bicep curls, which, they have their place, but they forget about what you said, the compound lifts, and you're using all the other stuff as a way to make those lifts better. So yeah. I mean, I can see where
I
you're
always
going.
try to like put it in layman's terms with people, especially people who are just starting out their journey.
Sure.
If they want to prioritize, or they feel they need to prioritize, the smaller accessory movements,
Mm-hmm.
I always ask them, I'm like, have you ever seen somebody with a good bench press with small arms?
That's good. That's good.
No.
I have never thought to tell anybody that. That's perfect.
I mean, and
That's
it applies to any of the big three. Like, have you ever seen somebody who can deadlift, 405 plus if you're a guy, 275, 315 plus if you're a lady? Have you ever seen somebody who can do that and they don't have back muscles and hamstrings?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, exactly. They're not
No.
they're not skinny people. Yeah.
Right. It's like those big lifts are the main drivers of adaptation, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people don't like them just because they're hard. Like, let's be real.
It's true.
Like,
yeah, you're right.
A heavy set of squats sucks.
Yeah.
But it makes you better.
Yeah. And I tried doing like a drop set of squats, which I had never. You do drop sets with like all the upper body stuff, if you do like a lat pull down or whatever. But it was funny. I tried a drop set of squats and I was like, damn, this is the way to go right here. Oh my God.
That'll ruin your day.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah. I was on fire afterwards. So
you wanna ruin your day sometime on squats. Take 60% or like 50 to 60% of your 1RM.
Okay.
And do 100 reps as fast as you can.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's horrendous, but
that sucks.
In the bodybuilding world, they'd call it like a giant set, because you're gonna have to rack it unless you're a cyborg.
Yeah.
And then
exactly.
you're gonna rack it for 10, 15 seconds, and you're gonna pick it back up and do it again. In the CrossFit world, we would call that like some sort of a Metcon or a conditioning piece.
Sure.
But if you don't think that's gonna destroy your legs,
I would like to see some guy who sort of belittles it and been like, well, I'll be fine. It's okay. It's just 60%. Like,
people have no idea sometimes.
Yeah.
People have no idea. They're like, oh yeah, like super chill. Like, they'll do 135. They'll be like, yeah, I'm going to bust that for 100 reps. They get like 40 reps in and you can just see it in their face.
Oh, it's pain. It's sheer pain. Like
they're like, oh no,
yeah,
I have made a mistake.
You get barely halfway in and you're like, oh, this is what he was talking about. Yeah, that's what he meant. No, and it's funny too, because I think as well the problem that some people face is that they think they have to tackle like different muscle groups with different exercises. And what I mean by that is like, if you go in with legs, then you do a couple sets here with this machine, you do a couple sets here with this machine, but nobody has done what you said and just tackle like 10 sets of squats or 100 reps of squats and just make that your leg workout. So instead of splitting up a bunch of these different leg machines and doing maybe like 3 sets each, you just spend the time with one exercise, be it a squat, be it a deadlift, or just one, and crank out 8 to 10 sets of that. And it's the same thing you're saying. At the end of it, you're gonna know what work is.
Yeah.
So
yeah, man.
And
I've done. I don't know if you've ever heard of Texas Method. It's a pretty famous strength program.
I did a little video on it, but one of my buddies got back to me, and I sort of tweaked it. Like I made it. I didn't use like the actual definition of Texas Method. So can you tell me like what it's meant to be?
So Texas Method is a full strength program.
Okay.
You work up to 5 RMs on I want to say squat and bench press on Friday.
Okay.
And then Monday you do 5x5 at 90% of that 5 RM for the squat, and I want to say you do that Wednesday for the bench press.
Sure.
It's been a while since I looked at the full program. I've never done the full program. I've done the squat portion of it.
Okay.
Because it was being adapted to CrossFit.
Mm-hmm.
And but like you do a 5 RM on Friday, right? And then you come in and you do 5x5 at your 90% of that on the Monday. And like that's 5 sets of 5 to warm up for that properly, get ready, and then get through that. Like it takes like an hour and a half. Like,
yeah,
to what you were saying about like people like, oh, I need to go do leg extensions. Like, no, screw you. I'm done.
Yeah, it's so like it takes up enough time already. Just what you're saying. Like people are blown away, and I was too. When I first did it, I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. It'll go by so fast. Nope, not even.
No, it's a pseudo religious experience.
Yeah,
like
that's a good way of putting it. Yeah,
and it like you don't need to do anything else after that. Like it's just junk volume at that point. Like you're not getting any more adaptation. You're just doing stuff.
Yeah, you're kind of just tacking on a lot of like unnecessary bulk, unnecessary volume, So yeah,
exactly.
But and what I read too, just from an article I was looking at, the Texas Method seemed to be a good way for like people who've been lifting for a long time, who've kind of reached a plateau and they don't know where to go next. So it seems as though, so it seems like a good way to incorporate a bunch of different approaches to lifting, right, for people who are way past the newbie gains and they've gotten to a point where they need more progress, but they don't know where to go, right?
Texas Method is a pretty squarely like intermediate lifter routine. The one thing I would say, and this is just from my experience, I did Texas Method for 6 weeks on the squats, but I stopped getting adaptation after a month.
Okay,
so,
that's good.
So
for people to hear, so that's kind of the timeline, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean it's gonna be a little different for everybody. Like I responded really quickly. Obviously, my 5 RM squat went from 345 to 375 in a month.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that's
unbelievable. But after that, it was basically the last 2 or 3 weeks. I would come in on Friday and I would put 380 on the bar because I just wanted to add 5 pounds to it, and I would die. Like I had hit adaptive resistance to that stimulus at that point. Like my body was like, we're adapted. You're not getting any more out of me from this. Like I needed to change it up. And like I said, it's going to be a little different for everybody, but I definitely, like if somebody was wanting to do Texas Method and they were an intermediate lifter, I would not do it for more than 6 to 8 weeks. Okay. And if you did it and you hit a 5 RM and then you did it the next week and you didn't PR and then you did it again and you didn't PR, I would just shut it down and deload because you're not getting any more adaptation at that point.
And it's so. What did you do? Did you did you deload after that, or did you kind of continue into another program?
No, I deloaded
Okay.
for a week on the squats, and then after that, I went into a high rep cycle.
Okay. Okay.
So, and
Perfect.
it was CrossFit flavored, but it was like 5 rounds of max reps at 40 or 50% in like 2 minutes, and then
Sure.
there was like 2 minutes of rest. So it was more of a high rep cycle. It would be a muscular endurance thing. In the bodybuilding or regular world, it would be like sets of 20 probably.
Okay. Sets of 20. Okay. I see. That's good. I need to do something like that because I've just been kind of spinning my wheels. You know, I'm in the rut too that people probably find themselves in. You know, you get you know what you like in fitness. You know what you prefer doing, and you're not something mentally kind of tells you it's like, oh, I'll get to this other goal or this other thing later, and you just sort of stick with what you've been doing. And
It
but yeah, that's so I need to do what you said. Like the sets of 20 is a great thing to try, and I think I
sets
should.
of 20 or even just the 20 rep squat.
Okay.
You start at like 50% of your squat for 20 reps, and you just add 5 to 10 pounds a week.
Nice. Okay.
Like super simple.
Yeah.
It's devastating.
Yeah.
But
I'll
it's
bet.
really great for, muscular endurance, and it's great for volume. So it's going to help drive hypertrophy. Um, I've got one of my coaches actually at the gym. She does kind of her own programming and stuff, but
Sure.
she's been doing it, the 20 rep squat program for a little while now, and she's
Okay.
gotten great results with it.
20 rep squat. What? So this is another random question. What's your big pet peeve? Like if you walked into a gym, and I know I have like 20 a gazillion pet peeves, but what do you hate seeing whenever you walk into a gym or a CrossFit gym? Is there something that's like a CrossFit inside joke?
Ooh, that's a
I
good
know.
question.
So toughest question of this interview.
What is my pet peeve?
Yeah, what's your pet peeve, man? Because everybody's got one. I think
So
whenever you
I
walk into a
do.
gym or something.
I have a couple. So
Okay.
I would say I have my biggest pet peeve for athletes working out.
Yeah.
I hate when people lay on the floor during burpees.
So okay. Okay.
Just get up.
Interesting. So it's kind of because I guess in the CrossFit world, it's like you can't do that.
Well,
So,
it's not even the CrossFit world. I think it's just me.
yeah.
And I think it's maybe a little bit of the military. I don't really know. There's nothing for you, like on the floor.
On the floor.
Get
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Just get up. Like I don't know. It's a huge pet peeve of mine.
Sure. As
And
a
then
coach and as a trainer, I mean, it's got to be like you just expect people at the very least to stay standing. Even if you're reaching your burnout and you're ready to throw in the towel.
I mean, I get it. Like I've wanted to lay on the floor
Yeah.
numerous times during burpees, but like just stay standing a second,
Sure.
or two before you go into your next rep. Get some oxygen,
Mm-hmm.
and just don't lay on the ground. It's not a good look.
Yeah, no, it's not. No, you're right. Yeah, because then you look like
Um,
a pile of goo. So
yeah, it's
that's
just not
weird.
good.
Yeah.
And then I think my pet peeve as a coach would be if somebody just is clearly like struggling with a
Uh-huh.
lift,
Mm-hmm.
or lifting too heavy, or moving with more intensity than they should,
Sure.
and it not being addressed.
So
That just
it's
drive.
yeah. So it's to your point, it's in CrossFit, and I mean that is like of real importance in CrossFit, like doing a movement properly because it will come back and bite you in the ass if you're not doing it right.
Yeah, man. Well, and it's
Yeah.
a funny thing because like part of the stereotype or stigma of CrossFit is like, well, they only care about moving fast and blah 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 blah.
That is what I've heard, and yeah, exactly. Like that's what
But
I've
it's
heard from people and
completely
everything.
like it's not true.
No.
In the CrossFit L1, and what all coaches should teach their athletes is it's mechanics. So
Uh-huh.
you need to be able to do the movement properly.
Sure.
Consistency. You need to be able to do the movement correctly, consistently. Then and only then do you have the right to move with intensity.
There you go. That's a great, yeah. That's how you should define everything, though. That's
But
with anything you do, and but outside of
yeah,
CrossFit, yeah,
yeah. And there's a
yeah.
great like example that they use or that was used in my L1, and I
Hmm.
like it, I think, just from the military, but I don't know if you know anything about shooting, right? But if
No, I
you
wish I
are shooting,
did.
so I can paint this picture pretty easily for you.
Sure.
If you were gonna shoot at a paper target
Okay.
with a pistol or a rifle,
Hmm.
and I told you to be as accurate as possible, you're gonna take your time.
Exactly.
It's not gonna go very fast. Now, if I told you to go as fast as possible, it's not gonna be very accurate.
Sure.
You're gonna be all over the paper, right?
Exactly.
What CrossFit is looking for is the marriage of those two things. I want you to be as fast as you can be
Hmm.
while being accurate.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's man, and people don't get that. Like I didn't even
No,
get yeah, you said that to me, and that kind of like that made me realize like exactly what you're looking for. So people are just gonna assume watching any CrossFitter on like the CrossFit Games or anything, they're just gonna see this almost, since they don't understand the movements, and me personally too. I mean, I don't even understand them that well. It's the fact that they just look like they're just going fast, and there's not, they've done it so much that the form is second nature to them, I'm sure. So for the untrained eye and for people who don't recognize that, it just kind of looks like you're burning through the exercises. So
exactly. It
yeah,
looks like people having a seizure with a barbell.
exactly. There you go. And
Right.
I've done them before, but it's so funny. You try like a snatch or a clean and jerk, and you kind of realize the complexity of it, automatically. So when I just decided to try that randomly. So I did that at a gym,
Yeah.
and I was like, damn, this is something. So
The
yeah,
Olympic lifts are difficult.
they are,
Like,
man. They
like
are. Oh
I
my
always
God.
I always tell people, especially new people at the gym, like when they're first starting, they're like, "This is really hard," and I'm like, "Dude, these two movements are an entire sport.
Yeah. Yeah. There you
Like,
go. Yeah.
like they're
That's
hard.
true.
It's okay. It's okay. Like it's okay for it to be hard. You're gonna get it,
Yeah. It just
but
takes
it's
practice
okay."
like anything else. Yeah. Just going through and trying to activate the right muscles at the proper time and everything. So
Yeah, man.
yeah, jeez, man, that's crazy. I was gonna ask you another question. I'm trying to think of it. I had a good one. Damn, I'm trying
Had
to
it and you
think.
lost it.
Dude, I know, it was so good. It was a great one. I was gonna ask you. Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. Is there a particular CrossFitter that you personally look up to? Is there
A
somebody
CrossFitter that I look up
that
to?
you look up to, or maybe not look up to, but just kind of you'd like everybody's got. I've got my favorite bodybuilder. Like, who's your favorite CrossFitter?
Yeah, so I'm an OG
Uh huh.
CrossFitter-ish in the sense where I've always been a big Rich Froning fan.
Oh, but yeah, he's
Um,
amazing.
I mean, of
Even
course,
I know
right?
him.
Like,
Yeah, he's unbelievable. He's
yeah, he's
he's the goat.
fantastic
Yeah,
athlete and like overall great dude with the stuff he does outside of
yeah.
the gym as well. I think another CrossFitter that I really admire for what he does is a dude named Zach George.
Have not heard of Zach George.
He's
Okay,
He's a British athlete.
okay.
Um,
So he sounds
and
sophisticated. Yeah,
he is sophisticated,
very
and
sophisticated. Yeah.
I really like, so CrossFit is a little bit more difficult on the sports side if you're a bigger athlete, if you're
Okay.
taller and stuff, just because of range of motion,
Mm-hmm.
moving your body weight through space. Like CrossFit is a legit sport now, and the ideal size for a CrossFitter is like 5'7" to 5'9", 200 pounds,
For
right?
sure.
So I'm 6'2", so I'm on the taller end of things.
Okay.
And Zach George is like 230,
Yeah.
and he is a beast at gymnastic stuff, which to me is just always super impressive. Like
Yeah.
he's
That's.
230, and I think I've seen him do like 20 or 25 unbroken bar muscle ups,
Oh my
which is
gosh.
just like, that's fantastic. Like
How-
that's ridiculous.
How tall is this guy?
I don't know how tall he is. He might be 6 foot ish.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, but that's
But-
that's impressive. That's
Yeah,
impressive.
but he's a large dude.
Yeah.
And just like I followed him for a really long time before he kind of made it big. He was just on I want to say Men's Health UK or something like that,
Sure.
because he had qualified for the games this last year. But watching him like progress through the gymnastic stuff and just seeing what he's capable of doing now, it's like, okay, big guys can do cool stuff on the gymnastics rig too. We just got to work at it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I can see with gymnastics and with like just being a shorter person, more stocky, I guess would kind of benefit you a little bit,
Yeah, it's
lower
just a
center
little
of
more
gravity.
beneficial for moving quickly. Like you don't have to move the barbell as far and stuff like that. And the gymnastics movements, your center of gravity is closer to the floor. You're more compact. Like
Yeah.
I always make fun of myself when I handstand walk. I look like a drunk giraffe. Like my legs are fucking everywhere and going crazy. And
There's that
but
guy. I mean, what's his name? They look tall on the TV. I don't know if they are in real life, but he was on the CrossFit Games. I think he was Canadian with Vellner. Like there was Patrick Vellner,
yeah,
and
he's taller.
he's taller. Okay, because he
He's
seems
like
like it.
5'11",
Okay,
or 5'11", 6 foot.
okay, because Vellner, and then it was his buddy, his other Canadian buddy. I don't remember this guy's.
Fikowski.
There you go. Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
He seems tall too. So
Yeah, Fikowski, I think he's like 6'2".
there you go. He's he's in your
So
position.
he holds it down for the tall guys too. There's a couple of them. Travis Mayer,
Okay.
he's an American athlete. I think he's 6 foot ish, so he's pretty tall.
Yeah.
And then there have been a couple other guys over the years. Spencer Hendel was like 6'2". Asia Barto was like 6'5".
Okay.
Um,
Wow.
so
God, that's something.
yeah, I would say
6'5".
Froning and Zach George. I like watching what those guys are doing.
Yeah, it's amazing to me. And Froning, I mean,
And I mean, you
he's a
can't
beast.
not like Matt Fraser either.
He's also a beast.
The
Yeah.
like he's a freak of nature. Like he's incredibly fit, works incredibly hard. Like won it 5 times. Like
I,
came back from a broken back. Like I
oh my
mean, how
God.
do you not get some inspiration from that?
Yeah. I mean, if you're, like, and CrossFit, it's just so not back heavy. Just kidding. No, it's all back. Yeah, it's amazing.
Exactly.
I know. Wow, man, that's something. Do you have a favorite bodybuilder?
Favorite bodybuilder, man. I used to be super big into bodybuilding when I first started working out. Um,
If you say
so
Schwarzenegger, I'm cutting you. Just kidding.
no. So I've always really liked Kai Green.
Yes.
Um,
Okay. I do agree with that. I do like him. He's
Kai
very.
Green's super cool.
He's something. Yeah. He's really cool. He is
And then
like the philosophical bodybuilder.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Which I get on board with that. I really liked Greg Plitt.
That's a golden
Um,
age. Oh no, that's great. Sorry, I'm thinking of somebody else. No, Greg Plitt was the Army Ranger.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And then I
It's
followed Steve Cook for a really long time.
kind
He was like the reason I started working out. I was like, I want to look like that. Jesus, like,
Me too, but
right?
I was talking to somebody and they made a good point about Steve Cook is that at the end of any of his videos, if you watch any of his like bodybuilding videos, at the end of them, he always says this. He always goes, "At the end of the day," and then he just sort of goes on from there. So he always so at any one of Steve Cook's videos, he just goes, at the end of the day, da da da, blah blah blah.
I'm gonna look for that now because that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is, but you got to go check it out. And I didn't like. I just knew. I haven't watched too many Steve Cook videos, but when he told me that, you could hear it in the back of your head. You're like, I think he's done that. Like that makes perfect sense. He would do something like that. I don't know,
Right.
but yeah, Steve Cook has that kind of like that bro-y sort of. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. He's like, I
yeah.
mean, when you're a 19-year-old dude,
Oh,
trying
you
to get
love
into
him.
working out. Yeah, you're like, this
Yeah.
guy's awesome.
Yeah, and I looked up to him too. I saw Steve Cook and I was like, "That's the body I want right there."
Yeah,
So,
dude looks like a
he's a
Greek
god.
sculpture turned to life.
I know he does, and he's amazing. So,
Who else was a bodybuilder I really liked? Yeah, Kai Green.
Kai Green. Do you like any older bodybuilders, like a golden age bodybuilder?
Yes, I'm losing all their names right now
There's-
because I'm a
do-
knuckle dragger.
I'm trying to. Well, if okay, it's Arnold, obviously.
Tom Platz.
Tom Platz, yeah, there
Tom
you
Platz
go.
is the
He's
man.
amazing,
Dude,
He's
if you wanna-
unbelievable.
If somebody needs to learn how to bring the intensity to
Mhm.
the gym, they just need to go watch Tom Platz videos.
Sure.
That dude was awesome.
But the cool thing about Tom Platz too, and I don't know too much about Tom Platz, but the little I know is that considering how much of a beast he was, he kind of wasn't he more like a power lifter, like a little bit more Am I thinking of somebody else? Because I
I
think
have no idea.
okay, because
I
it
have
was.
no idea.
I think it was him because I think it was Tom Platz because he kind of took a different direction to bodybuilding. He kind of approached it from like the powerlifter perspective. But I mean, those freaks of nature always do that. They're always heaving massive amounts of
Right.
weight and insane stuff. Ronnie Coleman's doing like an 800-pound deadlift or
Who
something.
was who was the guy? Oh, he was really big in the 90s. I cannot remember his name.
In the
And it's
90s,
gonna,
was he an Olympia guy?
yeah, it's gonna
Okay.
piss me off too. He was on Rogan.
Oh God. It's funny. I listened to Ronnie Coleman's interview with Rogan. It's not him. I'm trying to think.
In my head is thinking it begins with an L, but I don't think it
Was it
does.
Lee Haney?
It might have been Lee
Was it Lee
Haney. I
Haney?
don't think it was.
Okay.
Oh, it's gonna piss me off. No, I don't remember. But
It, yeah, it's because I think Lee Haney was 90s. Now he may have been 80s. I have no idea. I don't know. But they're all great though. That's the funny thing.
yeah, they're all
I do
fantastic.
like Frank Zane. I think he's my
Frank
he's my
Zane,
guy.
yeah,
I
dude.
don't know. I think he looks amazing.
I mean, anybody who reaches the pinnacle of a sport like bodybuilding,
Yeah.
dude, you're a
They're great.
freaking
Yeah,
beast.
I can't look at them and go, well, you're missing a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Oh, not at all. Dude, I could not do bodybuilding, even though I wanted to, because it's so subjective. Like,
True.
I
That's a good point.
I love the fact about like CrossFit, powerlifting, Olympic lifting. Like, it's there's hard metrics, right? Like,
Yeah.
you lifted this much, you ran this fast, you did this thing. That's how you're judged. To put the amount of work bodybuilders do into bodybuilding, and then to be
Just
competing
dismissed.
against people and it being subjective to judges' eyes
Yeah.
is amazing.
Yeah, and it's funny because it really is, you don't know what's going on behind the scenes too. That's the funny thing. You don't know if judges actually do like a certain person even though he's not deserving of it. And I think yeah, and to your point, that's a problem with it. CrossFit is entirely about just going all out, doing your best,
Right.
So and
I can only imagine the politics.
Oh, yeah,
in
dude.
a sport like that. It's probably horrendous.
It's something. It really is. I did a couple shows, but it's, it really, you can tell going back there and looking at the competitors, you can tell who kind of has a fighting chance or who's kind of closer to the judges,
Right.
and it's not like you've seen anything. You just looking at the competition, you just really do. It's so funny. And you see the genetics, you see the differences, you see the people with smaller waists and you know how you're going to stack up immediately. You kind of see it. So,
Right. No,
yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah, but CrossFit I think is different because you can you go in there and as long as you bring it, I think you win. Like you have to reach a certain point. Like you have to get certain lifts and do certain things in a time limit. So I think it's an actual competition as opposed to, I have a 6-pack. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Which plenty of CrossFitters could do bodybuilding pretty well though, because they're all all looking like Greek gods. So
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah, there's the amount of volume they do. They have a good amount of hypertrophy, especially the elite. I try to practice what I preach. You gotta lead from the front. You can't be telling people what to do and not doing it.
You're not just sitting there coaching, eating a bowl of ice cream and just kind of like,
no.
I mean, come on, that would be funny though.
It would be fun.
You just sitting on the sideline, somebody's doing a burpee, they fall on the floor, and you just kind of get right next to them. You got like your pizza, and like, what the hell are you doing? Get up!
This is a kind of funny story. You'll find this entertaining. A couple years ago, all of the coaches at my gym made workouts, and we called them like our gym specific benchmarks.
Sure.
And we all did them with the members. Like it was kind of a big community thing. And one of the coaches, she can remain anonymous because there's people who probably still hate her for this workout.
Sure.
She made this workout and it was just horrendous. It was assault biking, deadlifts, and then you had in remaining time to do a bunch of burpees, as many as you could. And then the rest was like a minute between the rounds, and it was like 5 rounds. It was just, it's
That's
horrendous.
abysmal.
It's super gross workout.
Yeah.
So I did it, and then I went and got my lunch that day, and then came back to the gym to watch the 11:30 workout do it, or the
Sure.
11:30 class, and I sat off in the corner of the gym and ate Chipotle while I watched them do that workout.
Just unbuckling your pants, like, all right, so
Dude,
have fun, you
the
guys.
the class finished, and like 3 of the members were like, "I hate you right now.
Yeah.
Like, go away. I hate you. I don't care that you already did this. Just get out of my face.
Sure.
I'm dying."
Well, hey man, to your credit though, Chipotle is not super unhealthy. I'll give you benefit of the doubt there, because it's not like, you can get healthy stuff on a Chipotle burrito. It's not like going to, I don't know, going to Taco Bell and getting yourself like a chalupa or something.
Yeah.
Like
Coming back with 8 Taco Bell
eight-
tacos.
Yeah, for $3. Yeah.
Right.
This only cost me a fiver.
Right. You get a month's worth of sodium.
Yeah,
intake
exactly.
from one taco.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I gotta stock up on my sodium. I, I need that in my diet. So, man, dude, that's funny though. And I think yeah, there was that. And then, whenever you're training somebody, I think, Family Guy made a joke. I don't know if you watched that, but they were talking, somebody who kind of just gets into training. And I think I found myself doing this too. I don't know if this goes into CrossFit at all. It might just be like more regular personal training. But, somebody tells you what they eat. And I don't know, Family Guy was making a pun out of it. And the trainer was just going, you shouldn't eat that. Oh my God, that's just bad for you. That's so bad.
Yeah.
There you go. I don't know. I don't do it justice because I'm sitting here talking over a mic. So
No,
sound
I know what
stupid.
you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, but it just made me think, because somebody tells you like, oh, I eat pizza, and they're like, oh, so you eat pizza? Why do you do that? I would love to try that out on somebody someday in a nice way, in a nice jokey fun
Right, like
way.
stage it, like have one of your friends be the person, and just have some random person watching.
I know. Yeah, it
And you
just, oh, why do you eat that? Oh, you're terrible. You're bad. Yeah, something like that. I don't know. I'm a bad trainer. Just kidding. Just kidding. So, well, there you go, man.